If I told you my story, you would hear hope that wouldn't let go. And if I told you my story, you would hear love that never gave up. And if I told you my story, you would hear life, but it wasn't mine. If I should speak, then let it be of the grace that is greater than all my sin, of when justice was served and where mercy wins, of the kindness of Jesus that draws me in. Oh, to tell you my story is to tell of Him.
Hello, I'm Jan Long. Many people knew me as Jan Pryor before this, but I got married to a fantastic guy. I had been living in Adair, came back to Grove, and got in a group of women that just, hit it off with them. Just so much fun, with them. Widowers like me and just different things. And I was looking for a church. I'd gone to COS and I'd been a member of Elk River Baptist, but I just didn't want to go back there for some reason. I wanted something different. My other son, youngest son, Kit, he saw the sign out front of our church here about Reformers Unanimous, and with Roy Morgan and Renee. And he said, Mom, I saw this church with this sign out there. Maybe that's where we should go. And so he and I started coming, and that was been about 4 or 5 years ago now. And anyway, that's where we went. But the cherry on the top was Sam. Sam is so personable, and it doesn't matter. I mean, he's heard every story and everything like that, but he's not judgmental. He'll tell you the truth. He's very honest about everything. We've had some really good talks. And so he knows my story. Several people here know my story and my struggles. I was always taught about Jesus being my King of Kings, but I never had any real teaching of him. I knew the Bible stories because my mother told us, uh, and just the love of Jesus, but I never really had any church bringing up, so to speak. So I never belonged to a church. And that, lo and behold, when I turned 18, I married a preacher's son. This is kind of ironic. I never still really learned a lot through my father-in-law that was the preacher, because my husband was telling me when we'd go to church at his church and the invitation was given, he would say, now don't go up there just because you want to please dad. You've got to really know it in your heart that that's what you want to do. So lo and behold, as years go by, we're in and out of a church, but I wanted to be saved. I didn't really understand that I wasn't already saved. I didn't know I had to ask Jesus in my heart and turn my life over to him. So I did that one day, actually, by getting on my knees listening to Pat Robertson's show. And that just rang a bell to me and was clear as, it couldn't have been any better. So I was by myself when I accepted the Lord into my life as my King. I was married for 44 years, and my husband became very ill, and they even called me in and told me that there was nothing else they could do for him, that I might as well just take him home and let him just succumb to his disease. So I said, well, I can't tell him that or he'll give up. So we set up the hospice bed and they brought him home. When he did become ill and he was on hospice, I never told him anything about, the nurse had told me he had 3 months probably to live. 6 months later, they dismissed him from hospice. And I said, well, you don't write the book of life for him. God does that. So later on, my husband told me, he said, you knew all this, but you kept it from me. I said, yeah. He said, it's a good thing because I would have given up if I thought I only had so many months to live. He lived 4 more years. I was on the fence about this for a while. I talked to Sam about it, many friends. Some friends would say, walk away, somebody will take care of them, you don't need this. And other people were saying, I don't know what I would do in your shoes. But all the time, the Lord was with me, as he always has been. One night, I was asleep, and a voice said, take care of the children. And that was all there was. So I woke up, and I said, well, there's nobody in the room. What is this? So I just went back to sleep. The next night, the same thing happened. Take care of the children. That was it. So the next day, I talked to Bobby and I said, Bobby, we need to call off our engagement because I'm going to take care of the children. And he said, wow, what happened? So I told him, I said, when the Lord comes to you and gives you a command like that, he's going to find a way. He's going to take care of it. And it doesn't mean you take care of the children monetarily. It means take them in. I thought that was how I took it. So I got on the phone with the DHS people and I said, I don't have a home right now, but I will get a home. And I want to take the children. The message I would want to share is Jeremiah 29:11. God has a plan for you, not to harm you, but to prosper you, to give you hope and a future. I relied on that verse many times. And if his plans will prevail over the plans you have for yourself, believe me.
Oh, to tell you my story.